Welcome back to part 2 of my conversation with Navel Nazareth, where he talks about his journey through entrepreneurship and accepting himself as a queer identity. So stay tuned. Okay, so I guess you pretty much answered my next question, which was how does someone who's not even being able to speak in front of a small group of people start their own entrepreneurial journey, where you have to lead pretty much a company, but I guess the right people making you cultural head at the right time, I guess if I'm not wrong,
that absolutely helped.
would have been something that would have been a great confidence booster, where you're being trusted, and that is the most important, right? Like to feel trusted. So throughout your work, your college, your whatever experiences you faced, and even through NAM. So when you talk about how you were able to now have your own company.
Correct.
However, even after starting your own company, you're still going to have to deal with other companies, with other people. Now, has your identity ever been a caveat in people trying to take advantage of you, either in terms of monetary or in any other manner?
To be very honest, when you work for yourself, you have the right to choose your people you work with and you work for. If I know that I have a client who might pay me well, but will not be able to understand me or my work or the way I am, I would choose not to work with that client. And luckily, my team understands that and supports me in that.
Okay.
If I tell my team today that, listen, I don't want to work with this client for any X reason, like, and it has to be some serious reason.
Absolutely.
I cannot casually say, "Haan, chal, man nahi kar raha, kaam nahi karta." Right. So if there's a reason where I find that I am not comfortable working with this person or this client, I could just go to them, tell them, listen, I don't think I can work with them. You see if you want to manage the account, or let's drop it. They have always heard me and dropped it. Because they understand, if I am saying no, there has to be a very big reason behind that. So the entire reason why this could happen was because of me choosing the right people to work with. That has actually helped me to even sustain in this business, be able to produce whatever we could, and be somewhere where we are proud of. Now we are not doing very well, neither are we doing bad. We are in a situation where we are handling good number of clients, we have good number of employee base, we have time for our personal endeavors also, and things are pretty smooth, and we are very happy about it. And we don't want to, we're not those money-minded people who know, nahi, paise, nahi, personal chhod, padhai chhod, ye chhod, mujhe paise kamane hai. We've never been that people, because neither have that been inculcated in me, neither in my friends who we started this business with. The entire purpose was, we enjoy working, let's work together, and let's work for ourselves. And they've been supportive in making sure that that happens, and it does not affect me.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's a great thing. I mean, I've heard so many times there are people that have to, curb a few of their own principles in order to, get ahead in their career. And definitely having a team that supports you, it's a boon, and that's a great thing. So now, as I've mentioned this throughout the interview in various different ways, that you've had a lot of challenges, and being a queer identity in a fairly bigoted society, I would say, and starting business at the same time means there's a lot of things that you have to deal with, right? There's a lot of stress that's coming. So
mental, physical.
Yeah, so do you have any techniques that you use in order to keep your sanity in such times?
So the entire mantra, I could say, the mantra towards maintaining that sanity is to always promise what you can deliver, and to always maintain that difference.
Okay.
Like when it comes to professional, you have to be professional. When it is something personal, you have to be personal.
Okay.
If you're able to maintain that, I think it does not lead to anything else. Like, you are able to safeguard a lot of yourself.
Okay.
In this process, it's entirely about you should connect to a lot of people. You should connect to your clients, etc. But to an extent where it doesn't get too clingy. Okay. I would say. Like that is one way how I look at it. That's how I've maintained my sanity.
Okay. So I guess what you're trying to say is that you give attention to things, but you give equal attention to things instead of pondering too much over anyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's mainly creating a sense of balance and segregating your thoughts in order to be able to tackle them one by one.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a great approach to, be high functioning in an environment of a lot of stress.
Correct.
So, please tell me how comfortable you are in sharing this. But what is your current situation at home in terms of to what extent do they know about you and your sexuality? Have you come out to them or?
So to be honest, I have never actually made them sit in a traditional way, and I have never had a coming out as such. I never did that.
Okay, so but you're doing this interview and like it'll be aired, and does that not bother you? If they'll find out from like.
So to be honest, let me ask you this.
Okay.
If you're comfortable, can you tell me what your sexuality is?
Sure, I am heterosexual.
And when was the last time you made your family sit in one place and confessed, told them that you are heterosexual?
No, I haven't.
So why do I have to? So okay. That's the
fair
mindset.
Point. Fair point.
So actually, I'll tell you why this happened is because I have always been, with my sister. I've always seen my sister as an inspiration because again, she's been a girl all her life and she's able to do whatever she wants, behave the way she wants without people judging her, etc. So I have never seen my sister coming out.
Okay.
She's a heterosexual woman. She's married with 2 kids right now, but I never saw her coming out.
Okay.
And if it is okay to assume that if she's not come out, she's a heterosexual, why is it not okay to assume that if I'm not come out, I'm a homosexual?
Totally fair.
Yeah,
definitely. My question came about and my reaction came about pretty much from the fact that I've never really heard of an approach like this because of the, general norm where, okay, coming out is a big thing, but you're trying to put yourself in the idealistic world, which is what it should be, that it should not really matter what a person is doing in their personal life in that sense.
Because again, what it comes to the conclusion that, at the end of the day, when you make people sit down and say that I am from the community or any section of the community, you're telling people that I am not normal. But I am normal, right?
Right.
So when I make people sit like that, it gives an impression that, okay, there's something wrong with me. You need to calm down, you need to sit, you need to understand that.
Right.
And I never felt that there's something wrong with me. I have always been this way, I've been born this way, I'm proud to be this way. And in no way does, like, a lot of things have happened to me because people are not educated about it.
Right.
But in no way does that mean that, them is normal and me is abnormal.
Okay.
And to maintain that fact, I have never done this.
Okay.
Like, if somebody's asked me directly about my sexuality or my sexual preferences, I've been very open, very candid, I've told them.
Right.
But unless you don't ask me that question, I don't feel it's necessary to answer.
Okay.
Because, again, if you're not judging other people, why are you judging me?
Fair. No, absolutely, you're right. I've not really thought of it in that manner, but that is the ideal world that we want to live in, and hopefully we're going to get there. Yes. Not in our lifetimes.
I hope it happens.
I hope it happens, but I don't know. I don't know if it's right for me to say that. It's just that
working on it.
Yeah, all we can do is make attempts. So tell us a little bit about closeted stance and queer stance.
Okay, so now that you've heard my journey, like you've heard that I'm still traditionally in the closet.
Okay.
So what happens is there's a lot of stereotype in the community itself when it comes to a person being from the community. Like, if you want to survive in the community, you need to have good looks, you need to have good body, you need to be of a certain age, height. Only then you're appealing to people, otherwise you just sidecast. They don't even bother if you exist, you don't exist.
Okay.
So one thing which happened with me during my youth, which correlated with my professional life also was that when I started my journey as identifying as a queer individual, I realized that, there was a lot of pressure around coming out. Like you have to actually tell people that you are from the community, only then you get that acceptance. Until then, you are just an ally. Simultaneously, when I used to work for this newspaper company, I, being from the community, was very keen or curious to write a lot of stories which were like in relation to the LGBT community. Every time I submitted a draft, it would get rejected, and they would say it's too controversial, it's not politically correct, it's not backed by a lot of facts. Now, being a journalist, again, these are all very important things. But I have also been in the business, and I've been writing like 25 to 30 articles a day. So I know what I'm writing. And yet it would get rejected. And again, this was the same time when there was a Pride March, and I decided to go for this Pride March, and I wanted to go on the podium and I wanted to speak. So one of the MCs there, they asked me a simple question: are you out? I'm like, no, because again, now you know my philosophy, why I'm not out. So I said, no, I'm not out. So she directly told me, no, closeted people are not allowed. So these two things happened simultaneously, and I came to a position where I realized there's not a lot of information about the community available anywhere. Like if I want to read something, you know, about any type of sexuality, about any experiences, it would either take me to a porn website, or it would take me to some statistic information which was not really my understanding. I didn't have an understanding of that. So I was sitting in this office of mine where I'm supposed to write my story, the articles for my office. I opened up Wix, I went on to, I opened up a website, and I was thinking, what name should I keep? So it just hit to me that, you know, I am still in the closet. Like me, a lot of people are still in the closet, and they all deserve to have a stance. Stance is basically an opinion, right? Opinion ka a synonymous stance. So closeted stance came from there. Writing just few articles about the community, sitting in my office during my break, led to me realizing that, you know, I am writing, but not a lot of people are appealing, like interested in reading. So if they would hear, now again, we are at radio station right now, right? So if they hear you, they could relate more with you, they could understand what you want to say. So that's when I realized कि अगर एक closeted का stance मैं लिख रहा हूँ, तो एक queer person का stance मैं बोल सकता. And that's how the Queer Stance podcast started. Wherein it was nothing, again, we didn't do a lot of controversial things, but we actually did a lot of stories, wherein a lot of people, if you listen to this podcast, the initial 4-5 episodes, each episode has a story, from police brutality, how somebody was raped by police officers, from being raped by your own family friend while you are in a family setup, and the many incidents which were like, again for me it's very unbelievable, because मेरे लिए ऐसा था कि ये सिर्फ मेरे साथ होता है, ये किसी के साथ नहीं होता. And me getting a lot of people telling me कि नहीं Neville, मेरे साथ ये नहीं, मेरे साथ ये हुआ है, मेरे साथ ऐसे हुआ है. People have chased me on the tracks, have taken me, torn my clothes, and they've, you know, molested me on the roads. This has happened with me, Neville. This is nothing which you're facing. That made me realize कि okay, it's not me alone, and if it's not me alone, there'll be a lot of people who are like me who would think that they are alone in this. So we wanted to create that sense of unity amongst people that, okay, you're not alone in this misery, we are all facing this. So rather than, you know, being alone and facing this, come together and let's find a solution towards it. And that's how Closeted Stance and Queer Stance came into existence.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, familiarity does bring comfort, and that's what you're trying to show. If as long as you tell someone that, you know, you're not alone, that's all that a person wants. Because what bigotry does is it makes you feel isolated, and that's the isolation that you want to get away for yourself and for the people that you empathize with.
So just to add to this, I'll just take a minute. Just to add to this. Now, what happened is, you just told me, right? Like, it might not happen during our generation. It might take some time, but we could try. So again, me and my team, we were sitting on this conversation that, you know, how could we try? I realized that, you know, the incident started happening to me when I was in my school and college. So if I want to save somebody else from this, I need to educate school and colleges first. So we started an initiative wherein we are actually going physically to college. We are actually speaking about gender identity, sexual orientation. We're talking about pronouns, because a lot of people still don't know how to use pronouns correctly. People think it's a formality, because usually what happens with pronouns is, I would not address you with your pronouns while you are here, but majorly when you're not here.
Right, of course.
Like while you're here, hi Shlok, how are you? How is this? I will be speaking like this. Are Shlok na, he was such a this, yeah, he was such a that. So I'm using the he's when you're not here. So technically I could use any pronoun. But if you would come to know I'm using he as a pronoun, it would some way hit you when you've been telling people that I'm not comfortable with this pronoun.
Right.
Pronoun for a lot of people is grammar. But for the queer community, it's, their existence, their struggle.
Right.
Their struggle towards, everything they've been through in life. And that is why they want to, claim it for themselves.
Right.
Okay, I don't no longer identify myself as a he now, because a he has not suffered all this. I have.
Right.
So I am not comfortable with that he. I would like them to call me they.
Right.
Again, there's a lot of emotion here. There's a lot of, internal strength which comes with a pronoun also. For some people, it's just a grammar word. Like people tell me, trust me, people tell me, what's the big deal with grammar, Navel? Why are you queer people making so much rant about it? But they don't understand the emotions that behind it. Because for them, it's just a pronoun. But for the LGBT community, it's a shield which they have built for themselves. Yes, if I am different, I am embracing it.
Right.
I am telling the world that हाँ मैं अलग हूँ. So yeah, so we're doing that
identity.
So that is what we started with Closeted now, that we're actually going to colleges and actually speaking. And you'll not believe this, but the first college I did was Andrews.
Okay.
And Andrews is a Catholic college.
Wow. Okay.
Where
life coming circle.
Homosexuality is a huge thing.
Right.
So after my session got done, I had all these queer kids come to me and they legit hold my hand and they tell me, Navel, this was unbelievable. How were you able to convince Andrews to do a session on gender? How were you able to do that?
Wow.
Because that fear is there in us. Trust me. Now I am being so candid here, but I know how my community will relate to, respond to this. If somebody from my church looks at this interview, when I go to church, I don't know what will happen if they'll let me. And this is 21st century I'm talking about. I'm talking about tomorrow. If this interview gets live today, I don't know tomorrow what the reaction would be of my church.
Right.
I don't know if I've spoken about this to anybody, but when I was small, I was in church, we'd been called for some random prayer service or something. There's a man who came as a counselor and he's telling us, at that time I was still exploring myself, and he's telling us, listen, being gay is a sin. If you are gay, you are a sinner, but do not worry, it can be cured. So I have cured people. Come to me, I'll pray for you, I'll pray on you, and I'll make sure you're out of that sin. Now this is again conversion, right? Conversion therapy,
right,
but in a religious manner. And I have seen this person coming and pitching it in front of me, and the conviction they have when they speak about this is so terrible. You start questioning everything in your life.
Right.
And for a kid who is just 13, 14 years old, it's difficult to hear.
Absolutely.
Then again, sitting in a church listening to a sermon where homosexuality is like abused on and spoken so much bad about homosexuality in one of the sermons. Sermon is a part where the priest talks to the entire crowd, and then they're talking this negative things about homosexuality, and you're sitting there and you're completely helpless. You can't say anything, you can't do anything, and they're directly talking to you, telling you that you are a sinner. Like I think we discussed this in private, that the reason why I wanted to leave the country again, because as I don't want to stay in a country where I'm a criminal, I don't want to be in a community where I'm treated as a sin.
Yeah.
So, but then the weird part is I'm very religious.
Okay.
Because I believe that whatever religion has come through, like whatever these norms are, these beliefs are, they've come through people. But when it comes to God, God has never said this on his own.
Right.
Jesus was a cool man. I believe in Jesus because Jesus was a cool man, and Jesus believes in forgiving people. And correct. So there's a lot of things I've read about him,
right,
which makes me believe that he is not a God which people portray him to be like.
Right.
He is the one who's forgiving. He's
right,
abundantly forgiving, and a lot of things come attached with him. So again, it's very confusing for me because I don't want to leave my God, but then again my religion is not with me, then, and I can't shut up. Like if somebody is saying something wrong about the community, I talk.
Right.
It be a priest, it be a nun, it be anybody. If in my house also, I have 2 kids, like my sister's kids stay with us. So even if, you know, the guy just starts playing with a doll, if my mama tries to stop him, I stop my mother. I tell her, why are you stopping him? What wrong is he doing?
Right.
I try explaining her ki listen, we are stuck in that world wherein, you know, gender is supposed to be this, because gender is again a socially constructed thing, right?
Right.
It's nothing concrete. Gender is what we have built based on the characteristics.
Right.
So I try explaining it to her, and then she understands. So that's what I realized. Ki education actually helps, and then we're doing this with Closet also.
Right.
We're reaching out to schools, reaching out to colleges, actually going to students and speaking to them. And getting to know their understanding. And trust me, this has helped a lot of people. People actually come DM me later on saying that it legit helped, Navel, it legit helped. Because again, we directly address it. We address it saying that calling somebody Gudwa is again an insult.
Right.
Just because you say it casually doesn't mean that it's okay.
Of course.
Because that word can stay in somebody's heart forever. Like this used to happen with me, a lot of people used to call me faggot. Like, Navel, you're a faggot. And that word used to be something I used to be super scared of. Like, I used to be in a frame of mind where I used to believe that I never want to hear that word. Okay? To transition to now, I have a rainbow on my hand. I embrace my sexuality now.
Right.
So it took me a lot of time to understand that I'm going to write faggot here also soon. Like again, that's my process of, you know, getting over that negativity and, you know, embracing that word, because again, that word has made me feel a lot of, you know, negative, it has put in a lot of negativity in me, but I want that word to empower me now. I'm okay with people calling me as a faggot now, because I know what a faggot means to them and I know what a faggot means to me. Just like queer. Like queer actually means weird. But we LGBT people have owned that word now to say that, okay, we are weird. Deal with it.
Okay, so I guess this was on Humans of Queer, where I read that this one time you went into the washroom and into the mirror, in front of the mirror, and you yelled, "I'm gay." So can you just tell us a little bit about that?
So, so this is a very funny tale which happened with me. So there was a time in my life where I had no friends. Okay? I used to, again, after my 10th standard, when I initially joined college, that was a phase when I would prefer being alone. Because again, if I would come out to a lot of, come speak to a lot of people, people would start noticing things, and you know, that would lead to again repeating of what happened in school. So I used to completely devour myself in YouTube. And that time I've realized that there were few YouTubers, like I still remember, this is I think very, very long back. We had only few YouTubers, like Tyler Oakley was there, Connor Franta was there was Troy Sivan, and there were a few bunch of these guys who used to collaborate with each other, and they used to make YouTube videos when that was not even you know, anything in India. That time people didn't know YouTubers. It is so, itna purana baat.
Okay.
So during this time, I used to follow Tyler because he was gay, and I wanted to understand the sexuality. He used to talk on a lot of LGBT topics which were interesting. So I followed him. Through him, I got in touch. I got to see some other videos. So again, I built a whole circle around me. And this was the same time when they had launched their books also. They wrote a memoir on themselves, all of them, all these guys. So I had these 5 memoirs with me of these 5 YouTubers. I don't know in the world who purchases a memoir of a YouTuber, but I did. And I used to read them. And you know, like how while you're a child, you're forced to read a Bible. I used to force myself to read these books. Because they spoke about their journey of them accepting themselves, etc., etc. And a lot of things happened. So during me reading Connor Franta's book, what happened is I came to a chapter where he talks about his coming out. So there he talks about his experience shooting the coming out video. Till then, I didn't know Connor Franta was gay. because you don't keep saying that, right? I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. He's a YouTuber. He makes fun content.
Right.
He makes interesting content, like 5 things you can do, 4 things you can do, 4 places you can visit. This is what I did in my day, etc. So I didn't know about his sexuality till then. I read this page and I realized, oh, he's gay. So what I did is, I went on YouTube. I searched for Corner Franta coming out, and I searched for this video. And I see Corner Franta without editing anything. He's just sitting essay. He's sad. Guys, I want to tell you something. So I have done this. Essay, he's emoting all that. And then he told his tale that how did he come out to himself. Now, a lot of people think that coming out is something you need to do to other people. Okay? But unless you don't accept yourself, how can you expect other to accept you, right? Unless I don't accept myself for who I am. So he taught me that you know, I need to start accepting myself. Till then, I used to think of myself as a disgrace.
Okay.
क्योंकि कुछ references ही नहीं थे ना, मुझे लगता था ये गलत है भाई.
हाँ, 13 साल की उम्र पे priest बोलेगा कि sin है तो फिर बच्चा क्या सोचेगा?
मतलब it has to be in my mind, right? कि नहीं I'm wrong, I'm doing something wrong, and you know, a lot of suicidal thoughts, let's keep that aside. But again, when I saw this video, he confesses that what he did was, he went to his washroom, he looked himself in the mirror, and he said it out loud for the first time, that I am gay. And I thought कि हाँ ठीक है चल इसने किया है, but would it really make any difference? So I thought to myself, कि I am attracted towards guys, so I think I am gay. Because again, not a lot of information available at that point, right? So I go to the washroom, I look in front, look at the mirror, I see myself, and I don't know why I see myself, I feel weird. Right. Because I've never seen myself this way before. Okay. क्योंकि अब तक हम हमारा चेहरा देखते हैं because I want to do something, I want to check something on my face. After washing my face, I just want to see pimple gaya kya, because that's the crisis you face through at that time. Yeah. Here you're trying to look inside, not outside. So here I'm looking at my face for the first time, and I'm looking at my face, and trust me, I'm trying to get that word out. It's not coming. Okay. You know, it because when it came out also, it did not come out from my mouth, it came out from my heart. And I said, I am gay, and I started crying. Okay. I am in the washroom, I'm crying like anything, and I'm not realizing, like, why is it happening? Why is this word having so much power that now that I've said it, you know, again, goosebumps. Right. Again, it was a very different kind of an emotion where, you know, I was like, okay, if I am this, I'm okay with that. Now I don't care what people say to me, what, you know, what my parents react to it, what others react to it. I know what I am, and I am happy being this person. Because I look at myself and I say this, and that completely changed me as a person. Trust me, that was one time I would recommend it to people to do this, like not even for their sexuality, but for any reason. If you want to speak to yourself, just go in front of a mirror and talk. Right. It's a very different experience. So Tyler helped me with that. So thankful to him. Nice. Okay. So Navel, when we were having a private chat, you told me that there was also a time that you were dating a girl, and that went on for like 3 years. Yeah. Now, was it during that time that you started to discover, and is that the reason, your identity, queer identity, and was the confusion the reason for you know, you not wanting to continue that relationship anymore? I mean, you only share if you want. Yeah, absolutely. So again, these 3 years of my relationship were like the magical 3 years of my life. Okay. Okay? Because till the time when I started dating her, I didn't understand the concept of sex. Okay. I know it's weird to say that I am like in college and I don't know sex, but sex was very vague to us. Because we were more into, you know, being emotionally connected to people, having a partner who understands you, who takes care of you, right, who's there for you when you need them, and you know, you reciprocate the same things to them. So this happened when, you know, initially when I joined college, I had this girl who was always around, and not in a bad way, because I was in a lot of activities and she was also in a lot of activities, and we became friends, and in like some time she started developing feelings for me, romantic ones. And she confessed to me, like, Neville, listen, I have these feelings for you and I would like to date you. In that time, I was struggling with my own identity.
Right.
Leave the sexuality part aside, I was struggling with, you know, how I should walk, how I should talk, how I should behave.
Right.
And there's this girl who's come to me and she's telling me, I love you, I want to be in a relationship with you. I just told her one thing, that listen, you need to give me some time. I think it was around August something. I told her, give me time till November. And it just randomly came. November tak main teko batata. Pata nahi kyun. November tak main teko batata. And she said, okay, I'll wait till November. And we're still friends. Everything is the same. We chilling every day, traveling every day. I used to say Bhinder that time. She used to say Bhinder. Traveling in the train every day. So spending like 2-3 hours together anyhow every day.
Okay.
In November, she comes and she proposes. And by that time, I've built that emotional connect with her. I can't say no. Because again, you know that emotion is there.
Right, of course.
And there was no thought of, you know, sexual thing. No thought bhi nahi tha.
Right.
It was very emotional thing that, you know, I felt ki nahi, I like her, I want to be with her. And we started dating. And during the course of dating, a lot of romance happened.
Of course.
A lot of kissing happened, but nothing was, you know, awkward to neither her, neither me.
Okay.
It felt very natural to us. While even we were in this situation, it felt good to us. Like, I never felt that I'm doing something wrong or okay, I'm not supposed to do it with her. Nothing like that. And it stayed on for a little while. But again, while we were dating, I started realizing that, you know, I might not be a good fit for her because I have my interest peaking towards guys. And I could never imagine myself being a cheater. Like, trust me.
Of course.
So when I realized this, I think we were in 3 years of on and off relationship because a lot of fights happen when you're dating. Like, misconception, you break up, next day you patch up. Like, this happened with us. And 3 years continuously dating. So फिर वो अभी तो आदत ही था. So one day I just go to her, I make her sit and I just tell her कि listen, I am feeling this way. And I don't want you to find out through somebody else. So I'm just confessing this to you. That I'm just feeling this way. So what should I do? So she just tells me that, Neville, listen, I am going to be with you forever. That is never going to change. But if this is happening to you, you need to start exploring that. Because I don't want you to be stuck with me.
Right.
Because if you think that this is something you want to pursue, please pursue it, but always remember that I am there with you. If you need any support, anything goes wrong, I am right here with you. And you know, that was one reason why I could do a lot of things in life, because she, again, one person who gave me that courage to explore. If she wanted, she would have said a lot of different things. She would have even gone to a lot of people and said a lot of negative things. That time I had a best friend. She didn't even tell my best friend about this.
Oh, nice.
I told about this to my best friend, I think just 2-3 years back.
Okay.
So he didn't know about me until then, and she never said it to anybody. She kept it to herself. And by that time her parents knew we were dating, my parents knew we were dating. So again we broke up, we explained it to our parents also. But then yeah, she was the reason why, you know, I could explore this side and understand that okay, if I would have pursued that relationship longer, then I would have done something wrong to her. Because who I am would have never changed, but she would have been stuck in that place.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, you all wanted the best for each other, and I guess that's the only way relationships, you know, whatever kind relationship, does not have to be people dating, but relationships, that's how they make it through the test of time, where you're just giving each other that, you know, okay, you know what, you have the space to make mistakes, you have the space to grow, and I'm there with you for the journey.
Correct.
Which is great.
So we had that.
So now before I let you go, there is this thing I wanted to bring up, which I read somewhere about the whole mishap with your name and spelling. So just give us that anecdote before we...
So again, this is a very funny incident, because you know, there are some things which you expect never to go wrong, but they always go wrong.
Right.
And that was my name.
Okay.
Like when I was born, so for some reason, when I was born, right then my granny said, this bachche ka naam is Neville. ठीक है? Because my granny read Harry Potter.
Okay.
ठीक है? read, I don't know, read or something like that. She knew about Harry Potter, and she thought Neville. My grandchild will be named Neville because she was my godmother.
Okay.
So she went and she told the doctor, बच्चे का नाम Neville है. तो doctor wrote हिंदी में Neville, Neville, ठीक है? Now this goes to the municipal office. For some reason, they interpret my name to be the Nabi.
Nabi, okay.
Technically, it's supposed to be Neville. They take it as Nabi and they write it Navel.
Okay.
And for some reason, they think it's okay to write a person's last name as Nazareth. So Nazareth is my last name. They wrote my last name Nazareth, Nazareth.
Beautiful.
And weirdly, nobody noticed. So I went to school with the same surname, first name. I went to I think 6th standard, 7th standard. I never saw my mark sheet also. Like weird. Okay. But you just look at your this, right? Neville वो पता चल गया था mistake है. NEVILLE का इन्होंने NAVEL कर दिया है. So which was okay with me. So मैंने देखा जब मैं passport बनाने गया, I have my mother's document NAZRETH, father's document NAZRETH, and my document is NAZRET.
Right.
So the office is telling me ये तेरे माँ बाप ही नहीं है. And I was like, माँ बाप ही नहीं है. So again, so a cool name became like a misery for me for a very long time, and it still is because I still haven't changed my name.
Okay. So but your last name also is NAZRET, right?
In all my educational documents.
Beautiful. Wow. Okay.
Haven't changed that.
That's quite the story. Okay, Neville. Neville.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm just messing around. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. It was very great talking to you.
Likewise.
Learned some very, very new things, and yes, I'm so glad that people are going to watch this, and I really want people to focus on absolutely the whole interview, but you know, stuff like experiences that we don't hear before, which was the overbearing personality in your life.
Oh God.
And
I would tell you her name, but then let me know.
Nah, that's up to you. That's not my thing.
No, let her. She'll know when she'll hear this.
Interview के बाद बताना. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to my story on Pride Lives On, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe to Radio City India.
Radio City.